What if Trump got high? What if he was taken for a little psychological reconfiguration in inner space? Well, you might be thinking, why? What's the point? Well, psychedelics have been known to cause individuals to experience the unity of existence, which can result in an increase of compassion and sympathy. You see, there's a lot of hate in the world right now, in the form of racism and police brutality, just to name a few things, and in America, Trump has become the archetype, the symbol of this collective hate. And some people have jokingly suggested things like putting LSD and super soakers to give masses of hateful people a psychedelic wake-up call. Now, even though this is a joke, there are many who do think that giving everyone a dose of LSD or DMT or ayahuasca could cure this blind hatred that we have in the world. So what would happen if Trump did take a psychedelic trip? Well, let's find out. For those who don't know, soft psychedelics such as psilocybin, or magic mushrooms, LSD, DMT, and ayahuasca, which is a DMT brew, are vastly different from hard drugs. Most of them are non-addictive, and with many, it's almost impossible to have a fatal overdose. Now, disclaimer here, don't do anything illegal and always do your research. There are variations of these compounds that can be extremely dangerous. But getting back to it. Marijuana is a kind of soft psychedelic. Even though its effects are relatively mild compared to some of the other compounds, it contains the psychoactive compound THC. It's only in the last 10 years that marijuana has been legalized recreationally in the US, and starting in 2019, only 3 US cities have decriminalized psilocybin mushrooms. But the world is finally starting to wake up to the fact that psychedelics have many therapeutic benefits. As studies have shown, they can be used to treat depression, anxiety, addiction, and a lot more. In addition to their therapeutic benefits, they can also be a sort of catalyst or spark for flashes of intuition to artists, philosophers, and scientists. It's only a matter of time before all soft psychedelics are decriminalized, and quite frankly, it's insane that they aren't already. But hey, this world is a mental asylum, it's a crazy place, so what do you expect? Because these soft psychedelics can cause one to experience the connectivity and unity of existence, it leads some people to become more compassionate. So, if Trump decided to take one of these soft psychedelics, would he rip off his dictator mustache and suddenly become an enlightened humanitarian? Instead of clearing out peaceful protests with pepper balls so he can pose in front of a church with a Bible, would he take a knee with them and help better the world? Yeah, no. Let me explain why not. Look, I understand why a lot of people think that these soft psychedelics would radically transform him. It's because they've done psychedelics personally and it radically transformed them, which is great, but here's the problem. They're assuming that Trump's consciousness is the same as theirs, which it's not. In addition to being the archetype of evil, he's also the furor of stupidity. Now, what is intelligence? Well, one indication of intelligence is the ability to change one's mind when confronted with new and credible information. Have you ever argued with someone that, let's say, believes that the earth is flat or the world was created in 7 days? And it doesn't matter how much evidence you show them or how powerful the rational arguments are that you give them, they seemingly can't change their minds. You see, technically, psychedelics don't cause you to think in new ways directly. What they do is they give you an experience, and it's up to you to reflect on that experience and come up with new ways of thinking, to make new connections yourself. For someone like Trump, a DMT trip would be just as useless as him watching a sci-fi movie. He might be given powerful experiential content, but his mind isn't capable of connecting the dots and using that experience to come to new realizations. So psychedelics don't actually increase consciousness directly. They increase or alter the field of experience, which is different from consciousness. They provide a mind with experiential content. Now, they can be a catalyst that could potentially lead to someone's consciousness increasing. They have the potential to increase consciousness if a person takes that experience and uses it to form new conclusions. They don't expand consciousness directly, but rather indirectly. It's up to the mind to take the experience given to them and to utilize that to form new connections, which will raise consciousness. For example, let's say that a person gathers evidence of racism everywhere. Well, they would begin to conclude that, hey, racism exists and it's a problem. Well, someone like Trump sees the same evidence, they have the same experiential content, but they deny its existence. They deny that racism is a problem. Likewise, a psychedelic could give someone the experience of unity, and an intelligent mind may reflect on that experience and form conclusions, whereas someone like Trump would just deny it. Imagine if you gave a psychedelic to a tiger. Well, after the trip, the tiger would still go on killing other animals. You see, same sort of idea with Trump. He lacks the ability to reflect and understand, so his behavior wouldn't change. To put it bluntly, get it? Bluntly, Trump is just too stupid for psychedelics to have a significant effect. For most people, their minds are like concrete. It starts off malleable, but then it hardens permanently and can't be changed. They learn to behave and think a certain way via their culture, what their parents taught them, what traditions they grew up with, or what their peers pressured them into. They're other-directed, inner-directed, tradition-directed, but never self-directed, never autonomous. They literally just can't think for themselves using logic and reason. For an intelligent person, psychedelics can give your mind an experience, and then you may reflect on that experience, and this could cause you to think in new ways that could dissolve toxic thought structures. But for many people, they don't have that ability to reflect on that experience and to form those new ways of thinking. So for a lot of people, it might not have any effect at all, or at least a very small effect. Psychedelics give you an experience. What a person does because of that experience depends on the person. One person can see horrible injustices and decide the world must change, while another person can see the exact same thing, that is, have the same experience, but do nothing at all or even laugh. This is why we need to create a new world based on logic and reason. We need to make sure that people grow up with positive, rational, intelligent, compassionate influences. So psychedelics can certainly help many people, but they aren't a magic cure for all the world's ills. They're just one of many tools. Our current society is toxic and it produces monsters like Trump. We need new institutions that create compassionate people and ensure that psychopaths can never get into positions of power. We have a shit system that produces shit people. Now, some of us can overcome that system because we are strong minds, but a lot of people can't. That's why we need a healthy system to produce healthy people. Now, scientists recently believed that they discovered evidence that marijuana was used in an ancient holy shrine. Now, these were certainly high priests, but look how much damage mainstream religion has caused. You see, so psychedelics can be powerful tools, but they aren't the be-all and end-all. They aren't the answer to everything. Only logic and reason can lead us to a new and compassionate world. If we had a healthy system, someone like Trump would have never been able to come to power. So let's say that everyone across the world was instantly given a hit of LSD. Well, would the world be a better place? Actually, probably. A bit. Because some minds are intelligent enough to use that experience to form new conclusions. But this wouldn't be nearly enough because for many people, it wouldn't have any effect at all or a very small effect. For them, it would just be like having a strange dream, and the next day, they'd go about their lives like nothing happened. I've met some terrible people that do psychedelics all the time, and they're still terrible people. This isn't an exact analogy, but think of it like this. If you give an intelligent person access to the internet, they can use the internet to radically transform themselves and self-actualize. If you give a stupid person access to the internet, they'll just use it for entertainment. If we want real, major, lasting, powerful change, then we need a new healthy system based on logic and reason that emphasizes education, self-actualization, logic, reason, and compassion. Within that system, we will of course have legalized these psychedelics, and we can benefit from these tools that they have to offer. By the way, lately I've been getting a lot of comments from people saying, you know, if you keep trashing Trump, you're gonna alienate a lot of potential followers. Yeah, I know, that's the point. I don't want any racist, homophobic, closed-minded ideologies on my channel. There's no place for that here. I'm 100% opposed to toxic ideologies. I want it gone. You know when you take a shit and flush and there's that one piece that just won't go away? Well, there's a lot of orange floaters around here. I've also noticed that many YouTubers and influencers haven't made videos or commented on recent events or spoken out about the injustices taking place. Obviously, that's because they don't want to lose followers. This is absolutely crazy to me. I will speak up and I will speak out. And if someone doesn't like it, I don't give a fuck. We are here to change the world and raise the consciousness of humanity. That is what this channel is about. That is what my work is about. We are engaged in a war of the mind. So if you are with us, then help us create a new world. So what do you think about psychedelics? Let me know in the comments, tell me below. And I want to make it clear that even though psychedelics aren't the answer, total world transformation, based on a system of logic, reason, and compassion is the answer, I am a big proponent for the legalization of psychedelics. They're powerful tools. And you can check out my video where I discuss my experience with DMT. You can watch it now. Join our war of the mind and help us wake up the world by subscribing right now. And if you enjoy my work, consider supporting on Patreon and you'll get access to our secret live streams. My name is Morgue and I am Hyperion. Ad Astra to the stars.